Hello dear students, welcome back to this lesson. This lesson is in the continuation with the previous video lesson on practice of reporting questions. When we change a question from the direct to the indirect speech, and what are the rules which are followed, that we have already studied in detail. Now, as we have done the practice in the previous lesson, we will continue with the same thing in this lesson. Please pay your attention to this exercise number 2. Dear students, जितना आवश्यक किसी भी इंग्लिश ग्रामर टॉपिक के रूल्स को समझना है, उससे भी इम्पॉर्टेंट स्टेप है उसकी प्रैक्टिस की जाए. As there are some important points. Number 1, जब आफ्टर लर्निंग द रूल्स आप किसी भी ग्रामर टॉपिक की एक्सरसाइज सॉल्व करते हैं, then only you will come to know that you have understood or not. Second, एक्सरसाइज पार्ट को सॉल्व करते समय आपके कुछ डाउट्स होंगे और वो एक्सरसाइज करते समय ही क्लियर किए जा सकते हैं. यह लेसन भी आपके लिए उतना ही इम्पोर्टेंट है. नाउ लेट्स प्रोसीड फर्दर. You are supposed to rewrite the following sentences in the indirect speech. That means इस एक्सरसाइज में आपको डायरेक्ट स्पीच के सेंटेंसेस दिए जा रहे हैं and you are supposed to change those sentences into the indirect speech, because when you will change those sentences in the indirect speech, at that time you might find difficulties, you might face various kinds of problems, but this is the only way you can resolve your problems. So dear students, let's get started with the exercise number 2. The first sentence in this exercise is, Suresh said to Sania, "Are you leaving for Mumbai today?" The second sentence is, he said to them, "Will you allow me to join the trip?" The third sentence is, the driver said to me, "Can I park my car here?" Fourth one is, he said to me, "Where do you live?" And the fifth one is, the tourist said, "Where can I change the currency?" Dear students, you must have noticed that all of these sentences have questions as the reported speech. Now I'll give you some moments. You take your time and just try to solve this exercise. Please pause the video here and rewrite the following sentences in the indirect speech. Now here comes the answer key. Now you can check your answers. And now we will discuss how these are changed into the indirect speech. The first sentence, Suresh said to Sania, "Are you leaving for Mumbai today?" Dear students, on this slide you can notice that there are some words which are written in different color and some are highlighted, some words are written in bold and some are underlined. So these words indicate the changes which have been made during this process of changing from the direct to the indirect speech. Now let's check the first one. Suresh asked Sania if she was leaving for Mumbai that day. This is written in the indirect speech. Said to, it's changed into asked. Then the next change is removal of comma and speech marks, and in place of those comma and speech marks we put the conjunction word if or whether. Then next we have the change of pronoun. In the direct speech we have the pronoun you. This pronoun you refers to Sania because Suresh is talking to whom? Sania. सुरेश सानिया से बात कर रहा है और उसे संबोधित करते हुए उसने pronoun you का use किया. So this you will be changed according to Sania, and for us she is a third person singular female, so we will use here she in place of you. As we have studied earlier, जब हम direct speech से indirect speech में questions को change करते हैं, then we change the word order. जो question word order है वह एक statement word order में change कर दिया जाता है. So, are you leaving for Mumbai today? यह है question word order जिसमें verb का पहले यूज किया जाता है और उसके बाद subject का. Statement में हम पहले subject का यूज करेंगे and then comes verb. So it becomes she was leaving for Mumbai that day. Today is changed in that day because this is the expression, this is the word that shows the nearness in time. So we change it into that day क्योंकि जब यह बात कही गई थी और जब इसे रिपोर्ट किया जा रहा है उसके दौरान उसके मध्य समय बीत चुका है. So it becomes that day. Today becomes that day. Along with these changes, there is another important change of the tense. The direct speech has been expressed in the present continuous. Are you leaving? And when we change it into the indirect speech, this tense will change into the past continuous. She was leaving. तो इस प्रकार इस सेंटेंस में हमने 6 टाइप्स के चेंजेस किए हैं. नंबर 1, रिपोर्टिंग वर्ब said to becomes asked. नंबर 2, हमने इसमें कंजंक्शन वर्ड if का यूज किया है. नंबर 3, प्रोनाउन में चेंज किया गया है. नंबर 4, वर्ड ऑर्डर. क्वेश्चन वर्ड ऑर्डर के स्थान पर स्टेटमेंट वर्ड ऑर्डर चेंज किया गया है. एंड नंबर 4, चेंज ऑफ द टेंस. प्रेजेंट कंटिन्यूअस के स्थान पर पास्ट कंटिन्यूअस टेंस यूज किया गया है. नंबर 5, टुडे बिकम्स दैट डे, जो कि टाइम और नियरनेस एक्सप्रेस करने वाले वर्ड्स को चेंज कर दिया जाता है. एंड नंबर 6 इज वी हैव रिप्लेस्ड द क्वेश्चन मार्क विद अ फुल स्टॉप. So I hope it's crystal clear that what are the changes which we are supposed to make in this first sentence. Now let's take up the second sentence. He said to them, "Will you allow me to join the trip?" Again, this is a question that begins with a helping verb. So we will use the conjunction word if or whether to join these two clauses. He asked them. Said to becomes asked. And then we use this conjunction whether. We can also use here the conjunction word if. It's your choice. ये आपकी choice है कि आप यहाँ whether use करें या if करें. दोनों में से आप किसी का भी use कर सकते हैं. Then you pronoun they में change कर दिया गया है क्योंकि second person pronouns are changed according to the object of the reporting speech. Reporting speech का object क्या है? Them. So it becomes they. Them के स्थान पर हमने they का प्रयोग इसलिए किया क्योंकि यहाँ they एक subject के रूप में यूज हो रहा है. Them is the objective form and its subjective form is they. So you becomes they. Next change is of course will would become would. और क्वेश्चन वर्ड ऑर्डर को हमने स्टेटमेंट वर्ड ऑर्डर में चेंज कर दिया है. इसलिए पहले हमने सब्जेक्ट का यूज किया. दे वुड अलाउ मी बिकम्स हिम. यहाँ मी एक ऑब्जेक्ट है जो कि फर्स्ट पर्सन है. डियर स्टूडेंट्स, यह मी वर्ड किसे रिफर कर रहा है? द प्रोनाउन ही को, जो कि रिपोर्टिंग स्पीच का सब्जेक्ट है. दैट्स व्हाई इट विल बी चेंज्ड अकॉर्डिंग टू ही. And it becomes me becomes him in the indirect speech. Pronouns को चेंज करने के लिए आप एक क्लासरूम ट्रिक जो आपको पहले बताई गई थी, SON upon 1, 2, 3. You can remember this to avoid mistakes. The third sentence is, the driver said to me, "Can I park my car here?" The indirect speech of this sentence would be, the driver asked me if he could park his car there. Dear students, you can notice why we have changed all these, why we have made all these changes in this sentence, because we have studied thoroughly the rules and regulations and steps that you should consider while changing the direct speech into the indirect speech. In this sentence, said to becomes asked. I think you know this is the reporting verb and it's changed because there is a question being asked. The next change is the use of conjunction and removal of comma and speech marks. And in this sentence, we have used the conjunction word if because this question begins with a modal verb that is also an auxiliary verb. So we use here the conjunction word if. The change of pronoun, the change of word order, and the change of the tense. It reads like this: the driver asked me if he could park his car there. Well, let's take up next 3 sentences. The 4th sentence is, he said to me, where do you live? It's very simple one. First you need to identify that which type of a question it is. It's a WH word question that begins with a WH word, and in this example, this word is where. When this sentence is changed into the indirect speech, it will become, he asked me where I lived. The first change is the simple one, that is, the reporting verb said to becomes asked. Next, use of the conjunction word, and that is the same WH word that is used in the question of the direct speech. So, where becomes the conjunction word here that joins these 2 clauses. यहाँ where एक conjunction word के रूप में यूज किया गया है. यह वही word है जो कि direct speech के question में यूज किया गया है. The same WH word where. And the next change is quite visible, that is question का word order statement के word order में बदल गया है. So it becomes I lived, and at the same time notice the change of the tense. This present simple tense, where do you live, it becomes past simple tense. So it becomes I lived. And of course the removal of the question mark, क्योंकि अब यह एक question की form में नहीं है, अब यह एक statement है, एक declarative sentence है. That's why we use the full stop in place of the question mark. Now we have one more example. The tourist said, where can I change the currency? You can notice the changes in the different color fonts and highlighted and bold and underlined. So the direct speech of this sentence is, the tourist asked where he or she. Why we have used here he or she? There is a reason behind this, because we don't know the gender of the tourist, so we can use here he or she. Could change the currency. Dear students, you notice, you remember, can is a modal, and we have changed this also in its past form. इसलिए can के स्थान पर could का प्रयोग किया गया है. Now the next sentence is, doesn't this new dress look nice on me, mom? The girl said. इस सेंटेंस में रिपोर्टेड स्पीच पहले और रिपोर्टिंग स्पीच बाद में रखी गई है. But always remember, the girl said. This is the reporting speech. So first we will put this reporting speech when we will write down the indirect speech. So it will become, the girl asked her mom if that new dress did not look nice on her. Doesn't becomes did not. This becomes that. Me becomes her. And as usual, this reporting verb said becomes asked. So here are some other sentences that you can change from the direct to the indirect speech, and you can write down in the comment section their answers if you want them get checked. These sentences are, who is your favorite actor? The quiz master said to me. Sentence number 8 is, whose luggage is lying here? The policeman said to the passengers. Sentence number 9, what are you weaving, O weavers? The poet asked. And the last sentence is, the patient said to the doctor, would you send me the report? Well, the practice part is not yet over. In the next video lesson, we will take up the consolidated exercises, जिसमें statements और declarative sentences and questions दोनों टाइप के sentences consider किए जाएंगे. So, stay tuned for the next lesson. Bye for now. Thank you for joining. Happy learning.